Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Crypto Warehouse. My name is Mike. It is the 29th of November. It's 11 a.m. and we're back. It is Wednesday. It is hump day, and we're going to take a quick look at the charts. As I said yesterday, I thought we might have a little bit of a nudge up over the evening, and we have. It's nice to see. We're back above 38,000. We're actually at 38,300, which is a little bit above where I expected us to be, but we're going to go through that again later anyway. So we have a busy show today. We're going to take a look at what rate cuts could do to the price of Bitcoin. Are we finally going to start to see a move towards $40,000? We're going to have a look. We're then going to take a look at Chainlink. As you know, one of my favorite projects. Where is Chainlink heading? We've got some news about staking. Uniswap is a coin that we haven't covered on here, I don't think, ever. So we're going to have a little look at Uniswap. Then we're going to look at how USDC is starting to become interoperable between different blockchains. We're going to have a look at what implications that has, not just for crypto, but making it easier for adoption of different products, different services on different blockchains, and how that's all going to work together. Then we're going to take a look at the sad news that Charlie Munger died at the age of 99. He would have been 100. I believe it was January the 1st, January the 4th. So Charlie Munger nearly made it to 100. We're going to have a look at that. We're going to finish then with some news about Spain and how they are tackling taxation on crypto assets. And then if we manage to get all of that done in time, we're going to finish with a quiz, as always, at the end. Yesterday was an absolute disaster. I asked the wrong question, which in fact wasn't a question. I accidentally added it as a comment, which lasted for 10 minutes and therefore had to curtail the quiz. So we won't be doing that again today. So remember, this is a two-way stream. Let me know how you are. Let me know where you are, what you're up to, and what you're getting on with. I'm going to have to restart the app so I can have a look at your comments and see who is in here. So, bit of an update on the boxes. It worked better yesterday, dropping them at 20 past 11. So the red envelopes will be dropped at 20 past 11. So hang around for another 15 to 20 minutes and we will be dropping the free crypto, and we'll also be dropping red envelopes as well. So stick around for that. And without further ado, let's get on with the show. So as we can see, Bitcoin is up fair old amount. It's up 3% in the last 24 hours. The market cap is at 1.43 trillion. Volume is down just a touch. Bitcoin dominance is still ticking up, over 52% now, and Ethereum is still there, still in the 17% range. I do think there's been some absolute massive gainers. Now, I do want to bring your attention to this. For the sake of my sanity, do not invest in Terra Classic USD. USTC is its token name. Terra Classic LunaC. They are the old Luna project, the one that went into the death spiral, that crashed around about a year ago. There is talk that they're going to repeg it. It would take billions to repeg. There is some fake news doing the rounds. Somebody's copied the Terraform Labs logo, said they're going to create USD2, and it's caused an awful lot of hype, an awful lot of noise around it. I have looked at the official Terraform Labs chat. I've looked at Discord. I've looked at Telegram. There's nothing out there to suggest that this is going to happen. It appears to be a pump and dump. If you noticed yesterday, it crashed 40%. The day before, it was up 100%. It doesn't look like anything other than whale games or pump and dump schemes. So please stay away from those projects. C or Psi is up 30%, Stacks 20, Thor 14, Terra Luna, which is the version 2 of Terra, that's up 14%. And of course, Solana is back over $60. It's at $61. And then Celestia, which has had its run up, is now back over $6. It's $6.38. So a lot of gainers in the last 24 hours. And we can tell it's a green day. As we say all the time, when you see stable coins in the top 10 of the losers for the day, you know that the day has been green. And other than Axie Infinity and Lido, they're only down 1%. OP, we mentioned yesterday, there's a token unlock, which means that OP, Sui, Axie Infinity, those coins, because they have a token unlock, people will be selling the coins now before that additional sell pressure comes online in the next 2 or 3 days. So expect to see them down there. And of course, FTX token, I've told you countless times, it's a token connected to a dead project. Don't invest in this token. That isn't financial advice, that's my personal opinion. But why would you buy a utility token of an exchange that no longer exists? It's pure speculation. I have read nothing to suggest that this is going to be connected to FTX2, so please make sure, carry out correct risk management. If you want to get this token and you want to go in and out of this token and scalp trade, by all means, but don't buy this token thinking it's going to go back up to $40, $50. There's no evidence to suggest that is going to happen. Now, let's move on with the news. When we're going to start with an interview, I think it was yesterday. There was an interview yesterday to do with interest rates in America. And of course, America sways the market a lot more than I think it should. But there we go. It is the largest financial powerhouse in the world at the minute. So Bitcoin retakes $38,000 while rate cut expectations increase. Oh, typical. So basically, there was an interview yesterday where a couple of members of the Fed were interviewed, and it was kind of an off-the-cuff remark, but it said, why would we keep interest rates so high when we have inflation under control? Now, if we go to Trueflation, which is my go-to for looking at what real inflation is in America. This is not the one we want. This is the one we want. So this is the real rate of inflation. And this is, I mean, they carry out countless different metrics to measure inflation in America. And Trueflation is where I go to check what inflation it really is in the UK or in America. And as you can see, the reported rate is 3.2%. The actual rate is 2.89%. Now, the target for the Fed used to be 2% inflation. They've readjusted that to now, I think it's 2.5%. But what you see here is you see inflation come crashing down. It's touched 2%. Then we've had the bounce, but we're starting to come down again. So there is nothing now to suggest that inflation is going, interest rate is going to stay this high. The house prices have had their sharpest fall in America in, I don't know if it's 80 or 100 years. I was watching Ben Cowan talk about it on Twitter. So house prices are coming down. Inflation is coming down. Unemployment is starting to tick up. Everything indicates that they're going to start easing interest rates. And what does that mean for Bitcoin? That means that we're going to head into next year with another headwind to add to the ETFs, to add to the halving in April. If we get the ETFs on January the 10th, we get the halving on, I don't know, April 30th, May 1st, whenever it may be, we are going to see some serious upward momentum. As we said yesterday, within 6 months of the halving, that's the best time to be buying Bitcoin. That is today, tomorrow, Friday, Saturday. Now, I'm not going to go back over the range. I'm like a stuck record. We're here, and we've always been here, and we haven't moved. It feels like for the last 4 years. We've only been here for just over a month, for 5 weeks. At some point, we need to break this. Now, this high area here used to be 38,250. We've come back up and touched it again twice. To break out of this range, we need to get above 38.6. The second that we break this, I think we're going to do this. I think this is the next move for Bitcoin. I said it yesterday, and I'll say it again today. We're going to break up and hit $40,000 this week, next week. And that is when there is a decision to be made by Bitcoin and the bulls. Are we going to break 40,000? And if we break 40,000, are we going to go up to the next SHIB level, which is sitting here at about $44,000? Where are we going to go? What is the decision the bulls are going to make? They now know that the ETFs are coming. They know the halving is nearly here. They know interest rates are coming down. Are they going to push through 40,000 and get us to 44,000 by the end of the year? We're running out of time. We've got 4 weeks left. Think about the amount of days the markets are going to be closed. That means the liquidity will be dry. Does that give them an opportunity to push us up? Or are we going to hit 40,000 and hit a massive sell wall and be rejected at 40,000 and finish the year at 38? So that's what I've said yesterday, and I'm going to stick by it. 40,000 is the target. And then we have to see if we do this or if we do this. They are the two moves now for Bitcoin, and there's nothing I can see that's going to stop us. We are moving up. Everything is looking good. The metrics are looking good. There are huge whales buying 500 Bitcoin, 400 Bitcoin a day being bought. We are into the buying stages of the pre-bull market run. So whatever you do, best bit of advice I can give you today is hold on to your Bitcoin. Don't sell. Don't let any short-term drop. Remember, the low area here for me is probably the low of this range, which is about $34,000. This is the range we could get to in a terrible black swan event. So we're talking about 34,000 in a black swan event. That's a 10-15% drop. That's my worst case scenario. So now is the time to be buying Bitcoin. We're into the end game of the pre-market bull run. So don't lose hope. Forget the short-term price action. We are going up 40,000 this week or next week. I can't see anything to stop us from doing that. Now we're going to move on. As you know, if you've watched us before, Chainlink is one of my favorite projects of this bull run. They've built and built and built, and they've integrated and integrated and integrated. And we talked about staking yesterday on XRP. XRP yesterday we spoke about the NFT fixes that allows NFTs with unique IDs to be created. We've spoke about the XRP staking. Now we're talking about Chainlink and Chainlink staking. And this is just another step in the development of the Chainlink ecosystem. So let's have a little look at the details. I'm going to drop the envelope and the boxes in about 5 minutes. So by the end of this article, I will drop all the boxes and all the envelopes. Good morning to Web3 Superstar. Welcome to the stream. I hope you're doing well. Thank you for all your nice comments that you leave on our videos. Who else is here? Anonymous is here. Tariq, you bought at the right time. I think you did. You definitely bought Solana at the right time. The problem with Solana is that there's nothing in there's a huge volume gap in Solana between there's kind of the next two levels are $70, $80, and then $100. And depending on how the bulls want to play it, we could see a retracement back to 55 or 50. Or if this bullish news with Bitcoin continues and we do hit $40,000, we go to $40,000 tomorrow or next week, Solana is going to be at $70 or $80 because of the volume gaps and the psychological markers of 60, 70 or 80 and 100. They're all psychological markers We do have previous price action at those prices as well. So Solana for me is going to go on a bit of a good run, I hope. We're going to do 2 videos tonight. We're going to do 2 AI token charts, which will be published probably by 9 or 10 o'clock tonight. And they will be the price targets for these AI tokens that we think are going to have a good run in the bull run. When we pick tokens, we don't just pick the biggest tokens to look at. We try and find tokens with room to run. So we're not going to pick $2, $3, $4 billion tokens, because to get them from 2 or 3 billion to 20 and 30 billion is a lot harder than taking a token from 200 million to 2 billion. And from your point of view, all you care about is the multiplication of your investment. So you put $1,000 in, you want $10,000 out in the next 2 years. So anything that's in the 100 to 500 million range, even Bonk, which I know Web3 Superstar likes, I think even Bonk now has a market cap of 200 million. We should probably make a video about Bonk. Again, we covered it probably about 6 or 8 months ago. Maybe we should make another video on that. But anyway, back to the news. So Chainlink has now expanded its pool size to 45 million link. That allows for 45 million link to be staked. And I believe that the APR is really high. I think it's paying something like 14%. It doesn't really mention it in here, but over time we're going to allow the stake or the staking of more and more Chainlink onto the system. They're doing it in a phased manner. So as you can see here, 45 million link is 8% of the circulating supply. That is what is set up to be staked. Now we're going to get onto the charts. Solo Sky, I have checked and it is looking fine at my end. The virtual picture is very poor. You can't see anything. I'm looking now and it looks perfectly fine. I'm going to restart just to check and see if there is a problem with the stream. But as far as I can see, we are good. Let me just go in and have another look for you. Maybe it's gone off in the last few minutes. No, it's working perfectly fine for me here. I can see the stream. Okay, so I'm going to bring up the Chainlink chart. It's been a week or so since we looked at Chainlink. So if you do hold Chainlink, don't let go just yet. Remember, I think the all-time high on Chainlink is about $50. We're currently sitting at $14. Well, let's call it $15. So we can still 3x from here just to get to the previous all-time high. So bear that in mind when you look at any of these coins. As I said yesterday, not all of them are going to break their all-time high. Not all of them are going to surpass their all-time high. But the major tokens that have been building and building, such as Cardano, Solana, Link, even Shiba Inu. Shiba Inu hasn't had a run yet. We've seen all of these massive runs on all of these altcoins and meme coins, and SHIB hasn't done anything yet. So that's going to have its time in the sun. So bear that in mind when you look at some of these coins. I think Chainlink is certainly going to surpass its previous all-time high. But again, that's just my opinion. So we're sitting in this nice range. I don't know why my indicators keep disappearing off my charts, but there you go. Here we go. I was on the wrong time frame. So where are we with Link? Well, first of all, I've gone back to the previous all-time high and I've done the fib level from there. So as you can see, we have been plodding along the bottom of the lower end of the fib levels, and look what's happened. We've come up to the first real level of resistance, which was about $16 roughly, and we found some level of resistance there. So what could happen in the short term is it could come down to meet the bull market support band and have another breakthrough. The next target for Link for me is about $21. That's the next fib level. That's a 15%-ish, 40% increase for me on Link. I'm bullish on Link. The news coming out from Link is all positive news. So I think $20, $21 would be a good area to take some profits, especially if you can buy it at around $11, $12. If you do have a retracement and we do come back down to the bull market support band, then I think we could be off to $21. And $21 does tie into previous price action as well. So you want to try and tie 2 or 3 of these things together, because that kind of gives you a little bit more confidence in what you're doing. Now, before we go any further, I am going to drop some boxes. Good morning, Ledong. Good morning, Carmen. Good morning, Ibesa. Hikran, good morning to all of you. Let me drop some tokens. 1 minute. This might take some time. Right, give me a second. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put the stream on pause for a second. I do it at 20 past now because it catches more people. So if you give me 1 minute, I'm going to go in and I'm going to drop the different boxes for people. And I have to do this manually. There's no way I can preset this, unfortunately, but needs must if when you're giving out free crypto. Remember, if you're watching somewhere which isn't on an exchange, you won't be getting this free crypto. There are links below where you can go and get the free tokens. So make sure to check out the links and come and join us. Okay, there's one. One second. One minute. Okay, there's the first one dropped. And now for the second one. I just need to go and get the token name that I'm going to drop. Optimus. Okay. Let me try this now. There we go. Okay, so the envelope has been dropped, the red boxes have been dropped, everybody should have their crypto. Now we're going to go and have a quick look at Uniswap. Again, there's a lot of very bullish people. DeFi people tend to be very bullish on their DeFi platforms, and Uniswap fans are no different. So Uniswap is on the cusp of breaking out into macro uptrend, said crypto trader. Here's his outlook. So again, I don't cover DeFi anywhere near as much as we probably should on here. We did cover the airdrops on Jupiter, which is the DeFi platform on Solana. And we're going to be releasing more videos about that in the coming weeks as we know more about the airdrops. We've covered the Pi airdrop. That was basically a Solana version of Chainlink. So we've covered that as well. We do make a lot of videos about airdrops and new tokens, but we don't tend to cover DeFi as much. Maybe we should start. So Rect Capital, who we've covered many times before, tells his 371,000 followers that the native token of Uniswap could soon flip a key resistance level into support, signaling a trend reversal. Uniswap is on the cusp of a breakout from this macro market structure. It needs to break the top of this pattern and reclaim it as support to enter a new uptrend. So here we have his nice graph. We're going to go and have a look at it in a minute. So it's trading at $6.25. The trader also notices that the stablecoin Tether is declining in total crypto market cap dominance, indicating holders are swapping the stablecoin for Bitcoin. I read a very interesting article the other day which was saying that rather than using stablecoins in a bull market, rather than using stablecoins, you should be using Bitcoin. So when you swap out of Solana or ADA or XRP, you should swap into Bitcoin rather than swapping into stablecoins, because if there is a pump in the market and you are out of crypto, then potentially you could not see the returns that you would get if you were holding it in Bitcoin. So that was an interesting take that I might cover again in a video. It's too long to get into now on a stream. But we're going to go and have a look at the Uniswap chart and see what that has to say to me, because again, I've had a quick look at it this morning, but I've not spent too long looking at it. And full disclosure, I hold Link, as I've said, I hold Bitcoin. I do not hold any Uniswap. It is not in my portfolio. There's only so many coins you should have in your portfolio. You shouldn't have them all. You can't have a portfolio of 100 coins. It makes it very difficult to manage. Let's get out of this. So what I found was some very, very easy to see and very simple fib level action. So what we've got here is we can see that Uniswap has been using the fib levels as support. It broke down, it broke under, it's come up, it's used this as support. It looks like I'm drawing a snake. I'm not. I'm just showing the pattern of how Uniswap has been respecting the charts. What it's done, it's broke up, and if we zoom in, we can see that on 2 occasions it's touched this key level of support that he was talking about, which is $6.56. So what is he talking about now for the next move? The next move up, you can clearly see, as I said before when we were looking at Link, look at previous areas of price action. So if we do break this, again, very similar to what I've said about Chainlink, we should be looking at $7.30. And again, because it honors the charts, $8 and roughly 30 cents. So in the short term, you could see a 20% gain just by holding Link from where we are, sorry, not Link, Uniswap from where we are now. So just bear that in mind. Some coins pay no attention to fib levels. Some coins have no interest. Other coins at the other end of the scale, such as Ethereum, you can plot Ethereum 6 months into the future using fib levels. The 2000 range, the 2100 range, the 2500 range, the 3000 range, it's all written into Ethereum. It's easy to see. But when you have a coin like this, now bear in mind, this fib level is automatically generated when I draw it onto the page. I haven't drawn these lines. But as you can see, it knows, the traders know, the bots know where the price action is going to take place. Support down here, resistance up here. It's easy to see. Link for 15 months did nothing but bounce between 2 fib levels. It was easy to make money on Link, in hindsight of course, over the last 15 months. So for me, if you want to buy into DeFi, you could be seeing a 20% gain on Uniswap in the next couple of weeks. Remember, if the markets go up, everything should float with it. You could long Uniswap from here, and I think with some level of certainty, if the markets go in the right direction, you're going to make a good and healthy profit. I'm not going to go into the RSI or anything like that today because I'm always conscious of time. We have Brogan making the TA videos now anyway, so TA videos are going to be separate from these streams. The TA videos are going to give you signals. He predicted Bitcoin going to 37,200. He predicted the crash recently on Blur, the Blur price crash. So he's providing signals on different tokens, so we don't have to do everything on the live streams because it's just too much. It's too much work. We run out of time all the time. So I'm going to stick to the very basics on this. Right, let me carry on. So this is the bullish news that I've been talking about for weeks, and that's to do with utility and adoption and usage, and how we can try and get as many people using as many chains as possible, but adding utility and liquidity to all of those chains. We talked about it with Cardano, we talked about it with Solana. You want money to be able to flow seamlessly across chains. And to allow that to happen, or the easiest way for that to happen is through stable coins. I'm not a huge fan of wrapping Bitcoin. I'm not a huge fan of synthetic Ethereum, synthetic Bitcoin. We spoke a few weeks ago as well about using Bitcoin to help secure other blockchains. I'm a fan of that as long as the staking of your Bitcoin is on chain, on Bitcoin. I do not like the idea of swapping Bitcoin for WBTC, moving it onto another chain, staking it there to help validate, because each of those additional actions just ruins everything that you're doing. It opens you up to wormhole attacks, compromised contracts, attacks on your different wallets. It's just a mess. It's easiest just to do it on chain. Now, USDC has introduced this cross-chain transfer protocol on the Cosmos chain. Now, the Cosmos chain, for those of you that don't know, you need to go and have a look into it. It is immense. And again, I think it's an undervalued project. So please go and check out Cosmos. I don't hold any. As I say, I don't hold every token that I talk about on here. So a significant player in the Cosmos ecosystem focuses on interoperable asset transfers, has successfully implemented the cross-chain transfer protocol. The CCTP was developed by Circle, the company behind USDC. Protocol helps facilitate the movement of USDC across different blockchains. This is what we need. So the easiest way to explain this is each blockchain is its own spider's web, and we have 50 spider's webs. What we want to do is connect all of those spider webs together. We want to link them all up to create an even bigger spider's web. In the future, we're going to need to do this. If you have NFTs on Ethereum and you want to use them in a game on Solana, you need to have interoperability. If you have money on Cardano and you want to go and buy an NFT on the XRP ledger, you need to have the interoperability to get the USDC from Cardano to XRP without going through too many hoops to do it, or using a centralized exchange. If you want to use a centralized exchange, it's easy. You send it to the exchange, you send it out over the different chain. Very straightforward. If you wanted to do that outside of an exchange, it's not as easy as you would think. So users now have the ability to transfer USDC across different blockchains: Arbitrum, AVAX, Ethereum, OP, and now the Cosmos chain, eliminating complexities traditionally associated with cross-chain transactions. Not just complexities, but the hacking that has been going on for the last 2 or 3 years. The vulnerabilities in the chains, and not in the chains themselves, but in the contracts to do with DeFi platforms, to do with certain liquid staking platforms. There's a lot of vulnerabilities. So the more that we can create an interoperable system, a mesh, the harder it is for these hackers to get access to your funds. So the main advantage is efficiency, removing the need for liquidity lockup and eliminating trust assumptions. It provides a secure and cost-effective solution for transferring assets between different blockchains. This development simplifies processes for users and opens new possibilities for developers, setting the stage for a more user-friendly, decentralized future. Now, a good example for this is, imagine that you have USDC on Solana and you want to stake it and earn a yield, but that yield is on another chain. So what you'll be able to do in the future is potentially have one interface that is connecting multiple chains together. So your $1,000 in Solana sitting in your Phantom wallet, for example, you might be able to stake that directly through your Phantom wallet onto a platform that then earns you a yield on a completely different blockchain. That's the level of possibility that we have with this. The same with if you wanted to go and buy an NFT on, I don't know, Arbitrum, and your money is on Solana. A system that allows it to be interoperable and connect your funds across multiple chains would allow that transaction to be complete. So we need this. This is how we're going to get adoption, by making everything interoperable so it becomes seamless to the end user. You're not the end user, you're not retail, you are the degens, the early adopters of crypto. I've said this 100 times, but when people come to crypto and you say to them, oh, you can't buy Cardano because it's on a different wallet on a different blockchain, and they're like, well, I don't know any different. That's the thing we're trying to get rid of. We want money to flow across multiple chains to allow multiple levels of utility to happen, so they can have a decentralized focal point for earning yield, buying NFTs, whatever it is they're trying to do. That's where we need to get to. We're not quite there yet, but every week that goes by, we are getting closer and closer to it. And now the last two articles. This is a sad one. Obviously, anybody passing is sad, but Charlie Munger is one of the, I think he was Warren Buffett's right-hand man. He has not been a fan of crypto, let's put it that way. But to be fair to him and Warren Buffett, they're also not a fan of gold. They like yield from their asset investments. That's why they invest in farms, in companies that make products. That's what they've invested in. So don't think they just hate crypto. They've missed out on Netflix. They've missed out on things like, I'll think of another one. A lot of these, Spotify, for example, a lot of these streaming platforms that don't actually produce anything, they never invested in. They're not tech stock purchasers outside of people like Apple, simply because they want to see their assets making them a yield. Crypto, in their opinion, doesn't do that. Gold doesn't do that. You can go back over the last 20 years and find many interviews with Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger talking about why they don't hold gold. Gold, they think it's very pretty, you can put it in a room, you can touch it, you can stroke it, but it will never make you a cent. They would much rather invest in a farm making corn or meat. So don't think it's just crypto that they're after. They just don't like non-yield generating assets. So Charlie Munger may have once called Bitcoin rat poison squared, but that doesn't mean crypto traders should ignore his years of investing wisdom. I totally agree. He started off working in a mailroom when he was in his 20s, and now he's gone on to be worth in excess of $1 billion, $2 billion. Obviously worked with Warren Buffett at Berkshire Hathaway. He died peacefully in a hospital. He served as vice chairman since 1978. He was worth $2.6 billion and praised for his sound investment advice. And as we know, he's not been a fan of Bitcoin. Many people have tried to meet him, have an interview with him, sit down with him. Michael Saylor wanted to teach him about Bitcoin, but of course, he's reached a certain age where he knows the best. He isn't going to be interested in what Michael Saylor or me or anybody else has to say. So Munger has got some words of wisdom. Again, with a lot of people, like when we look at the prices of Bitcoin and what people say about Bitcoin, it doesn't mean that their sayings are gospel. Just because Standard Chartered say Bitcoin is going to be $100,000, it doesn't mean they're right. But what you should do is listen to what they have to say and make your own informed decision. So we have 3 baskets for investing: yes, no, and too tough to understand. The latter could explain why Munger and Buffett never invested in Bitcoin. Takeaway message is that they avoided investing in what they didn't know. Both regarded as tech skeptics, they were too dumb to realize the potential of Amazon. We know about that. Microsoft and Google, we know about that. Spend less than you earn. This is his formula to success. Spend less than you earn, invest prudently, avoid toxic people and activities, defer gratification, never stop learning. Well, he didn't do the latter one when it came to crypto. We'll give him that one. But the one thing that I remember is this is kind of what I remember him saying, and him and Warren Buffett used to say the same thing. If you drink a certain brand of coffee every day and you like it and you understand it, buy shares in that company. Buy stocks in companies that you value. You value their product, because if you buy their product every day and they change and that product becomes a poorer product, that's when you know it's a time to sell that product and get out, because the market will react a lot slower than you will. So if you drink a Starbucks coffee and it's the nicest coffee you've ever had, buy Starbucks, because in 2 years' time the stock is more than likely going to be up 40 or 50%. Or if the coffee becomes, I don't know, less tasty, you sell the stock. It will then take 1 or 2 profit earnings reports for them to realize that it's not a good investment anymore and the market will sell. You'll always be ahead of the game. Why do you think Warren Buffett has McDonald's every morning? He doesn't have it because he likes McDonald's. He has it because he's keeping an eye on the quality of the product that you get from McDonald's. That's what he's doing. Probably the same way he's drinking the same milk, drinking the same coffee, eating the same food, because he will know instantly if that product has changed and he will sell that stock. So Warren Buffett's gone. It's very sad. When anyone who is a great investor or a great influence on the market passes, that's always a sad thing to see. But anyway, we don't have an awful lot of time. All I'll say is don't give Charlie Munger and Warren Buffett too hard of a rap. As the article has said, they've missed out a lot of tech stocks. They don't like gold. Anything that doesn't make them money that they can see, they're not going to invest in. So you have to understand their psychology to understand why they don't like crypto. They don't understand it, and they don't understand where the value comes from. Very simple. So finally, this is a little bit of news to do with, again, adoption. Adoption comes in many shapes and sizes. And one thing to bear in mind when we look at adoption is, of course, the taxman. Why is the taxman important? Because once the taxman starts to say that you need to pay tax on these assets, that's when you realize that crypto is here. For the last 7-8 years, crypto has been ignored. It's a fad, it's a con, it's a scam, everything you want to call it, it's been called. But when the taxman raises his head or her head and looks at it and says, you know what, this is an asset that we should be taxing, we should be taking our 20-30% capital gains from, that's when you realize that this is being taken seriously. So when you see tax laws, think adoption. When you see regulations being brought in, think adoption. When you see CBDCs of all things, think adoption. We want regulation and adoption, and both of them have to happen simultaneously. You cannot have adoption without regulation, because too many blue chip companies, too many, the Vanguards, the BlackRocks, they want to buy into Bitcoin because they can see it as an appreciating asset with a limited supply. But they're not going to buy into it until there's an ETF. They're not going to buy into it until it's recognized as an asset class. They're not going to sell it to you until it's recognized as an asset class. Similarly, the taxman, if you go to Switzerland, they've been taxing crypto now for 4 years. Once Spain, Italy, the UK, Hong Kong, once these countries start to have tax returns for crypto, then you know we have made it, and made it big. So Spain enforces new crypto tax law for foreign asset declarations. Spain introduces this new regulation for residents that they need to declare their crypto holdings on foreign platforms by March 2024. So this new tax regulation has come from the Agencia Tributaria, which has created a specific tax form. The regulations stipulate that both individual and corporate taxpayers in Spain must report the value of their cryptocurrency holdings on foreign platforms as of December the 31st. The reporting period for this declaration is January the 1st, concludes March 2024. The declaration requirement applies to those whose crypto holdings exceed €50,000. That makes perfect sense. There is no point in them chasing 5, 10, €20 in tax returns because the overhead to their tax system is crippling. So €50,000 seems to me like a very solid benchmark level. The move is part of the broader initiative to monitor and tax assets more effectively. I totally agree. So again, going back to my comments, we want adoption and regulation. This legitimizes crypto. It makes crypto part and parcel of everyday financial investing. This time next year, we're going to look back on ETFs, the halving. We're going to possibly be at a 6-figure Bitcoin price. Potentially, we're going to be looking at a $5,000 to $10,000 Ethereum price. We're going to see these tax experts, because what's going to happen next is the tax software will come out, which will be able to monitor all of your trades, and you'll be able to pay your tax on your crypto like you do on your stocks and shares. That's all we want. We don't want special laws for crypto. We just want crypto to be put into the same category as trading, as your ISA or whatever other pension funds you've got. That's all we care about. We don't want special treatment. We're not special snowflakes. We just want the same balance that everybody else has. So that's where I want to get to. Now, that is the end of the news. What we're going to do now is we're going to say goodbye to all of those beautiful people on a different streaming platform. Thank you for coming, everybody. What we're going to do, I'm going to put the stream on pause for about 30 seconds while we say goodbye. Remember, if you're new to the channel, smash the like button, hit subscribe, leave a comment under one of our videos so we know what you think about us. And we stream every day at 11 o'clock Central European time. Even on Saturdays, you can find us. So make yourself a pot of coffee and come and watch us tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock. With all that being said, those of you that are watching on an exchange, give us 30 seconds and we will be back with the quiz.